For decades, we've all looked up at the sky and asked the same question: are we alone? But what if we've been asking the wrong question all along? Today, we're going to dive into Jacques Vallee's classic book, Messengers of Deception, and explore a theory about UFOs that is, frankly, way more disturbing than just having visitors from another planet. So, right from the start, this is the warning Vallee gets from an intelligence officer. It's a heck of a hook, right? It immediately tells you, hey, this isn't your typical alien story. This is about us. It's about society, and maybe how it can be played. All right, so to understand just how deep this rabbit hole goes, we have to start where everyone starts, with that familiar, classic image of a mystery in the sky. It's the puzzle we all know, the one that kicks off with strange, unidentified lights. And the reports, they just keep pouring in from all over the globe. And the weird thing is, they share these bizarrely specific details. You've got pear-shaped ships. They hover without a sound, then zip off at impossible speeds. And we're not talking about just anyone seeing this. These are pilots, police officers, credible people. Some even report beings in shiny suits getting out. So yeah, this is the puzzle we're starting with. Okay, but here's the twist. This is where Vallee's investigation takes a sharp turn. He does something really interesting. He stops looking up at the sky and starts looking at the people on the ground, the so-called messengers and the cults that form around them. And trust me, this is where things go from weird to something else entirely. So we have this idea of the contactee, and Vallee makes this incredible point. This isn't new at all. Think about it. Historical figures like Joan of Arc or Joseph Smith, they claim to receive powerful messages from some higher intelligence, messages that completely change the course of history. Sound familiar? Vallee starts digging into these modern groups, and he finds a doozy, a cult called HIM, which stands for Human Individual Metamorphosis. And when I say their belief system is all-encompassing, I mean it is their entire world. Okay, you have to hear this. The whole belief system is wild, but it has its own weird logic. So you've got these two leaders, just called the Two, who say they're from another level of existence. They teach that your human body can be chemically converted into a new form, one that can survive space travel. And guess what? The UFOs are basically the school bus. They're coming to pick up everyone who successfully graduates. But there's always a catch, right? And this one's a big one. You have to abandon everything. And that brings us to this absolutely bone-chilling quote. Apparently, a member was explaining that the group was free to join, and this was his clarification. It's not about your wallet. It costs you your entire life, your identity, a complete and total surrender. And you'd think this is all just personal, spiritual stuff, right? Wrong. Vallee starts to see this really disturbing political message popping up again and again. Take this other group, the Elohim followers. Their message from the stars is basically, get rid of democracy. They say humanity is like a body. The brain decides what's good, and the foot just has to go along with it. The cells don't get a vote, which really makes you wonder, who benefits from spreading an idea like that? Okay, so just when your head is spinning with all this cult stuff, Vallee throws another wrench in the works. Something physical, something brutal. He calls it high strangeness, and it takes this whole mystery to a much darker place. Because suddenly, in the exact same places where people are seeing UFOs all the time, this new and absolutely terrifying phenomenon starts up. We're going from strange beliefs to cold, hard, physical reality, and it is grim. And what investigators find on the ground is just baffling. It's systematic. The cuts are clean, surgical, not like a coyote or a wolf. The bodies are often completely drained of blood. And the weirdest part? No tracks, no footprints, no tire marks, nothing. And it's always the same organs being taken, removed with this creepy precision. This isn't just an animal attack. It feels clinical. And whoever or whatever is doing this is incredibly bold. I mean, get this. They mutilated a 1,500-pound buffalo at a zoo that literally overlooks NORAD, the heart of North America's air defense. That doesn't feel random. That feels like a statement. It feels like someone is sending a message. But who? So this is the point where Vallee stops just collecting all this bizarre data and starts to tear it all apart. He starts building this case. A case against the one explanation we all think of first, little green men in spaceships. Because as he shows, it just doesn't add up. And he goes right for the jugular. He takes on one of the most famous pieces of UFO evidence ever, the Betty Hills star map. This was the thing she claimed aliens showed her during her abduction. For a long time, people saw this as the smoking gun, the proof. But Vallee just dismantles it piece by piece. See, a match was found, but here's the catch. It only worked by looking at a 3D model of stars from one very, very specific angle. Statistically, when you have that many options, you're bound to find something that looks close. But here's the real kicker. The map itself is all wrong. The distances are off, it'd be totally useless for navigation. So why would an advanced race show her a bunk map? Vallee's answer? It wasn't a map. It was a prop. It was staged. And that idea, that something was staged, brings us to the absolute heart of Vallee's theory. What if this whole thing, the lights, the contactees, all of it, what if it's not from space at all? What if it's a giant, sophisticated deception being run right here on Earth? Basically, a form of psychological warfare. And he points to a perfect real-world example. Think about World War II. Before D-Day, the Allies built a whole phantom army with inflatable tanks and fake radio chatter, all to trick the Germans. They were literally staging a massive show to control what the enemy believed. So Vallee asks the big question. Could the UFO phenomenon be just that? A modern-day phantom army? But instead of tricking an enemy on the battlefield, its goal is to win a psychological battle. A battle for our minds, for what we believe. And suddenly, when you look at it that way, all the weird pieces start to click into place. You've got the absurd messages from the aliens, the anti-democratic ideas from the cults, the sheer terror from the mutilations, and the evidence that seems designed to fall apart. It stops looking like a bunch of random, confusing events and starts looking like a coordinated campaign, a stratagem. So, where does all of this leave us? Well, it brings us to one final ultimate question. And this question doesn't just solve the mystery, it completely changes what the mystery even is. You're left with two very different ways to look at this. On one hand, the classic extraterrestrial hypothesis, visitors from other worlds. But on the other hand, you have Vallee's control system hypothesis, that this is all man-made, a homegrown deception to mess with our society. The goal isn't contact, it's control. The question is no longer, who are they and where are they from? It's, who is doing this to us, and why? And that is the final, chilling question that Vallee's work forces us to ask. If this whole UFO story is a lie, a masterfully crafted deception, then the real mystery isn't about aliens in the stars. It's about who, right here on our own planet, is pulling the strings, and for what purpose.